The calculated exit. My name is Sophia. For 6 years, I believed the greatest risk to my marriage was external: financial stress, health scares, the slow erosion of time. I never imagined the threat would be the man sleeping beside me, his breath steady and even, while his mind plotted my financial ruin. The first sign wasn't a bang, but a series of silent digital clicks. Liam, my husband of 4 years, began taking his phone to the bathroom. A small thing. Then he started turning the screen away when I walked by. He'd always been an open book, his texts lighting up the kitchen island with messages from his buddies about football. Now his phone lived in his pocket, a silent, sleek appendage. "Since when do you have a passcode?" I asked one morning, trying to sound light, stirring my coffee. He didn't look up from the fridge. "Hmm? Oh, work thing, new security policy." His voice was smooth, practiced. A cold thread of unease pulled tight in my stomach. The distance grew, not with arguments, but with a quiet vacuum. Our conversations, once sprawling debates about books and dreams, shrunk to logistical updates. Did you pay the electric? Your mother called. When I tried to reconnect, suggesting a weekend getaway, leaning into him on the couch, he'd pat my knee absently, his eyes drifting back to his laptop screen, always angled just out of view. The catalyst was a Wednesday. He said he was working late. A gut feeling, primal and insistent, led me to drive past his office. His car wasn't there. I found it parked downtown, outside an upscale bar called the Gilded Glass. Through the window, I saw him. Not with colleagues, with a woman. A stunning, sharp-suited woman who was not just listening to him, but leaning in, her hand resting on his forearm. He was talking animatedly, a smile I hadn't seen in months on his face. The smile he used to reserve for me. I didn't confront him. Confrontation gives away your position. Instead, I went home, my hands shaking so badly I could barely turn the key. I sat in the dark living room we'd painted together, surrounded by the ghosts of our shared laughter, and I let the icy reality settle. He was leaving, and from the look of that woman, confident, predatory, he wasn't planning to leave empty-handed. A week later, he made his move. Over a painfully normal dinner of pasta, he cleared his throat. "You know, Soph, we should really get our finances organized. Merge everything, get all the account info in one place, just for security, in case of an emergency." The word emergency hung in the air, poisoned. I looked at him, at this stranger wearing my husband's face. "What kind of emergency, Liam?" He shrugged, avoiding my eyes. "Life, you know? It's just smart. We're married. Everything should be ours." Ours. The word was a trap door. He wanted a full inventory. He wanted to know the exact worth of the life he planned to dismantle. That night, as he slept, I slipped into my home office. The glow of my laptop illuminated a face streaked with silent tears. This wasn't grief. It was the furious, focused adrenaline of battle. I logged into our joint accounts. My stomach churned. Small, untraceable transfers had begun. $500 to a new savings account, $300 to another, a slow, deliberate bleeding of our shared resources. I called my older sister, Elena, a corporate lawyer with a mind like a steel trap. I cried as I told her about the woman, the distance, the financial organization. Her voice was grimly calm. "He's staging, Sophia. He's moving assets and preparing a narrative. When he files, he'll claim you were financially irresponsible or that he's entitled to half of everything he's about to hide. You need to move first, now." "Move what? It's our money, our house." "No," she said, her tone leaving no room for argument. "It's the ammunition he'll use to destroy you. You can either be a victim of his plot or the architect of your own survival. Choose." I chose. The next week was a secret, shame-filled odyssey. With Elena guiding me, I began the legal, meticulous process of protecting what was mine. The inheritance from my grandmother, carefully invested, transferred into an ironclad trust in Elena's name. the title to the cottage my parents left me, quietly refinanced solely in my name. My personal savings and investment portfolios moved. I left enough in our joint accounts to avoid suspicion, a staged normalcy that felt like prostitution. Every signature felt like a betrayal of the vows I cherished. Every notarized document was a nail in the coffin of the love I thought was real. I'd cry in the shower, great heaving sobs, then wipe my face and put on a smile, asking Liam if he wanted more garlic bread. 2 weeks after my financial fortress was complete, he struck. He asked me to sit down in the very living room where I'd first seen our future. He didn't look sad. He looked resolved. Sophia, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. I've lost myself. I need to find who I am without this weight. The words were cliches, read from some midlife crisis script, but his eyes were calculating, watching for my reaction. He expected hysterics, begging. He was prepared to use my emotional collapse as further proof of his burden. I simply nodded, my face a calm mask. I see. He blinked, thrown. So you agree? I agree that you've made up your mind. I stood, my knees threatening to buckle. I'll have my lawyer contact yours. The confusion on his face was the first small taste of victory. The divorce papers arrived like a declaration of war. They were brutal. He wanted half of everything: the house, my down payment, my grandmother's investments, my future retirement, even spousal support, citing his lower earning potential, while conveniently ignoring the six-figure bonus he'd just received. It was a grab so audacious it took my breath away. This wasn't a divorce, it was a liquidation. The first mediation session was held in a sterile conference room that smelled of lemon cleaner and bitterness. Liam arrived with his lawyer, a smug man with a too-tight smile. The woman from the bar, Amanda, I now knew, wasn't there, but her presence was a ghost in the room. His lawyer laid out their demands with theatrical gravity. I let them finish. Then my lawyer, a steely-eyed woman named Miriam, slid a thin folder across the polished table. "Before we proceed," Miriam said, her voice cool, "you should review these." Liam's lawyer opened it. His smirk died. His face paled, then flushed with anger as he scanned the documents. Trust deeds, refinance papers, bank transfers, all dated weeks before Liam filed, all perfectly legal, all placing my major assets irrevocably beyond the reach of community property. Liam snatched the papers. "What is this?" he hissed, his eyes flying to mine. For the first time, I saw real emotion. Panic. "It appears," Miriam said, "that my client engaged in prudent financial planning. Given the sudden and unexplained dissipation of funds from your joint accounts last month, she took steps to secure her separate property." Dissipation? I didn't. This is bullshit. Liam slammed his hand on the cable, the calm facade shattering. "You planned this. You knew I was going to file." I finally met his gaze, my voice quiet but clear in the stunned silence. "I knew you were lying. I knew you were stealing. I just didn't know the divorce was the final step in your plan. I was protecting myself from a thief, Liam, not a husband." The mediation collapsed. What followed was a masterclass in narcissistic rage. The loving man was gone, erased. The call started, first pleading, "We can fix this, Soph, just give me a chance." Then furious, "You greedy bitch, you're trying to leave me with nothing." Then threatening, "You'll regret this, I'll ruin you." He launched a smear campaign, telling our friends I was cold, calculating, that I'd trapped him. Some believed him. The silence from certain quarters was its own wound. But then the universe provided a twist of poetic justice. A mutual friend, sick of Liam's venom, sent me screenshots. They were texts between Liam and Amanda. Liam: "Stop worrying. The paperwork is just a formality. Once I get the settlement, we're set. The house equity alone is over $300K. Amanda: "Just make sure she doesn't get suspicious. Play the sad, lost husband. It works on her." Liam: "I know. It's pathetic how easy it is. She's so trusting. By this time next year, we'll be in Bali with her money." Reading those words, I didn't cry. I felt a freeze so absolute it burned. This was the man I'd loved. This was the truth. I didn't use the texts legally. I didn't need to. I showed them to a few key, wavering friends. The tide turned. The silence became support. His house of lies crumbled from the inside. Amanda, seeing the settlement evaporate and the social blowback, vanished. Liam was left alone, exposed, and empty-handed. The divorce was finalized with a whimper, not a bang. He got his freedom and his personal belongings. I kept my life. Today, I sit in my cottage, the one my parents loved. The silence is no longer oppressive. It's peaceful. It's mine. Liam is a ghost, a cautionary tale that whispers of the woman I was, too trusting, too kind, and roars of the woman I became, a survivor who learned that sometimes the most profound act of love you can perform is for yourself, and the most devastating revenge is a future built from the ashes of their greed, lived well and lived completely without them. And that was Sophia's quiet, brilliant defense. This is a stark reminder. Not all wars are fought with words. Some are fought with paperwork, foresight, and the courage to protect your peace before the first shot is even fired. If this story of stealth, strategy, and ultimate survival had you on the edge of your seat, you need to be subscribed. We bring you the real stories, where intuition becomes your greatest weapon. Don't miss our next video. A mother discovers her teenage daughter's secret TikTok account and the horrifying coordinated campaign of bullying it reveals. The revenge she plans is so digitally perfect, it leaves the perpetrators exposed to the entire world. Hit subscribe and ring the bell. Your front row seat to the best stories of reckoning and resilience starts right now. This is Her Pain, where the quiet ones don't just fight back, they win.